Okay, hello everyone. This is Victor Momo, and in this video, I want to talk about the find and search functions, their similarities and differences, if you may. The find and search functions in Excel are used to find the position of one string within another. Sometimes it could be a string of more than one character. Sometimes it could just be the position of a character within, another string. What the find and the search should return is a number, right, which tells you the position where that string was found. So if I have a word like Excel and I search for X, which is in position 2, so search or find should give me 2 as the answer. If it can't find X within the string, then it returns an hash value error. Okay, so what I've done here is to pick up from support.office.com, a summary of, the remarks for this find and the search functions. And I always do this for all functions I want to master. So I really understand how the function is designed to work and, when it won't work. So sometimes I don't expect surprises because I know how exactly they should work. So when you look at the find function here, it tells you two things. It says one, it's case sensitive and it doesn't allow wildcard characters. Okay, so case sensitive, note that, and doesn't allow wildcard characters. So if you don't want to do a case sensitive search or use wildcard characters, you can use search. So when you want to do as in a search with wildcards or a non-case sensitive search, you use the search function. Okay, and it says here find text cannot take any wildcards. Okay, those are two things to note. Then at the bottom here, I also have the remarks for the search function. It says search functions are not case sensitive. If you want to do a case sensitive search, you can use find. Then it says here, that you can use the wildcard characters. Okay, so those are two cases where they're actually different. Most people always say, oh yes, the difference between find and search is just that one is case sensitive and one isn't. No, that's not just it. The other difference is that search can accept wildcard characters for searches while find function cannot. Okay, so I just wanted to lay that first of all before we kind of go into simple example, then a slightly complex one. Okay, so here what I just want to do is just to show you how both functions work. Okay, so I have diligence and I have Excel is excellent. Those are two strings, and I want to find the position of maybe, for example, the E character. Okay, now let me just pull up one of them so that we see how this works. So there are three arguments, and as you can see, there's a square bracket around start num, meaning that it's an optional argument, right? So 2 required, 1 optional. Find text, that's the text or the string you are searching for. Within text is the text string within which you want to do the search, right? So what you are searching for, where you are searching it. Start number is okay, where do you want me to start searching from? What character? If I say start from character 3, meaning that it's going to start from the L here, it's not going to see anything before that. Okay, so but you can see that start num is optional, and whenever a function is optional in Excel, I always say that it's important to know what Excel puts in place of nothing that you have given it when the character is optional. So when the character is optional, Excel uses 1. So if you write a function and put start num as 1, it's kind of redundant because if you omit it, Excel will still use 1, meaning that Excel will start searching from the beginning of the string. That's what it means. If you pull up the find function, you realize that it's essentially the same thing, right? Find text within text, start num. So it's the same thing. The only thing you need to note is the case sensitivity, right? It's written here, find is case sensitive. And when you go back to search, you can see it says it's not what? Case sensitive. So let's just do a search and a find just to see how they compare. So let's say we are searching for character E, that's the text we want to find, within diligence. If you may, you might want to just put maybe a $B for if you want. Okay, start num, I know I'm starting from the beginning of the string, so I can omit it, but maybe just for completeness I just do this. Okay, it tells me it's found in position 6. Let me take this same function here and just change this to a find. Is also found in position 6. So meaning that E is found in 6, either with a search or with a find. Now let's try something else here. Let's do the search for the E in Excel is excellent. I can copy this string over here. Okay, I can copy this one over because it's still the same E I'm searching for. Now what do you notice? For the search function, even though I gave it a small letter E, like a lowercase e, because it's not case sensitive, it reads uppercase E and lowercase e as the same. So it finds it in position 1. Right, do you see that? Although what I put in there was search for lowercase e. But when I go to the find function, because find is case sensitive, it looks for the e lowercase e. If it doesn't find the lowercase e, it says I don't have what you're looking for. And it doesn't find it in position 1, 2, 3. It finds it in position 4. So you see the difference. So search is not case sensitive. Lowercase e, uppercase e means the same to it. Find is case sensitive. So depending on the situation, you might decide whether to use search or find. Whenever I'm doing like searching for a character that is neither upper or lowercase, my default somehow just is search function. Like if I'm searching for an underscore, searching for a space, either one would give me the answer, right? Because that's not a case sensitive or insensitive search. You're not looking for an uppercase or a lowercase. It's just a different character. Okay, so that's kind of how it works, and that's the difference. So I wanted to just show the second part here, which is the wildcard part. So say I wanted to just check, for example, if this function had maybe starts, not necessarily starts, okay, contains br, and somewhere down the line it contains ox. That's what this means. It means that you have a br, you have a number of characters, that's the asterisk, and then you have ox somewhere. Of course, this should give me something, right? Because this is br brown and this is ox for ox in the fox. If I'm searching for it here, okay, so now what do you expect it to give me? It would give me the position where it finds br, which may be somewhere around, this is 3, this is 5, maybe somewhere like 11 thereabout. Okay, so it gives me position 11. That is where it can find the br. It's not just looking for br in this case, it's looking for this entire string, which is that I have a br, I have some characters, and I have an ox, something like that. And search doesn't have any problem with that. Let's copy this over here and let's change this to find. You see, find can't make any sense out of it. But should you be surprised? No, because it's been clearly stated here that what find text cannot contain any wildcard characters. So that's clear. So depending on the situation, if I'm doing a search that is case sensitive, I know I'm going to use the find function. If I'm doing a search that maybe isn't case sensitive, I can use, the search function. If I'm doing a wildcard search, then compulsorily, I must use the search function, because find will not work with wildcards. It can get more complicated if you now need to do a search function that's using wildcards and maybe being case sensitive, which is kind of like a search and find together, but I just wanted to point out these similarities and differences so that you know how they work, when they work, and when they wouldn't work, so you know the appropriate function to use per time. So I'm going to go into something else which would probably just end this video. Might take a little while, but we'll be done shortly. I know in some trainings that I've taken, I try to teach maybe how to use the search or find function or text to columns. And the simple example you always use is, okay, separate name, first name from last name when there's a space in between. And someone was like, oh, what if it's not a space, if it's another character? I said, that's not a problem. Then someone was like, okay, what if there's no space in between? I said, well, if there's no space in between, then there had better be something. If there's no unique pattern, then there's nothing I can do about it. So what I've done here is to create an example where I don't have any characters between the what's it called? The name, the first name and the last name. The only thing you can see here is that there's a capital letter starting the first name and the last name. And that's the only thing I have. So what can I do? How can I use maybe the search or find function to make this work? Trust me, with the newer features you have in Excel with flash fill, this, is really a breeze. But sometimes it's good to, get to understand how some of these things work beyond those fanciful new features, which of course are very helpful, right? So what I want to do in this case is we'll find the position of the second uppercase character. Why do I mean second? Because I know it always starts with an uppercase, the D here, but I'm not looking for the D. I'm looking for what? The W. If I can get the position of the W, then I'm fine. It means that I can find the first name, which will be everything from this W to the left, and I can find the surname, which will be everything from the W, including it to the right. And that will work everywhere for the other name. So I need to find the position of what? The second uppercase. Okay, so that's what I need to do. So how do I go about this? There are many ways and there are many functions or approaches. I'll just show you how one of the ways that I would do it. So I need to search for all possible uppercase characters in here. Now I can't search for W because the surname may not always be W. So what do I know? I know that in my character set, most of us should know this. Character set, if I do character 65, that's A. 66, let me do something that makes it easier for us to just take it down. Rows. This is what happens when you're creating videos at night and your keyboard doesn't have like some backlight. Just something, I just wanted to show you that. So this is character 65, 66, 67, 68, like that. Okay, so from character 65 to 90 will give you your capital A to Z. So I know that if I'm looking for a capital letter, it's somewhere between character 65 and character 90. That's what it is. I'm sure about that. So let me show you what I mean here. If I do character 64 or 65, I know that that's an A, right? So I need to find a way to do from character 65 all the way to 90. I can do something like this because I know row 65 will give me 65. I know row 90 will give me 90. Okay, I can do something like this. This is saying row 65 to 90, which will give me 65, 66, all the way like that. Okay. And once I put a character in front, it will tell me what character that translates to. You see all of that, right? The problem with this is that if you copy this formula down, I'm using the new version of Excel, right? So dynamic arrays are, are working in a different way. But if you copy that 6590 down, it becomes 6691, 6792. You don't want that to happen. So you probably just need to put the indirect in there, That's just why you will need the indirect so that it's fixed, because you always want to be checking between character 65 and 90, because if you drag this down, row 65 becomes row 66, and that means you're now searching from B all the way rather than searching from A. So you have to know how this works. Okay, so these are all the characters in there, right? So I know if I evaluate this will give me A, B, C to Z. I think I already did that. Okay, so now I can now use, which function am I going to use now? Because I'm looking for specifically as in uppercase characters. If I use search, search is not case sensitive. So if I'm looking for uppercase W, if it finds lowercase w, it's going to return it. So in this case, I have to use the find function because I'm doing a case sensitive search. I want to make sure it's searching for these characters exactly the way they are. So I say find the position of any of this within this. I don't need start from character 1. I think I need, yeah, I actually do, sorry. Because if I don't start from character 1, it's going to find the first one. So let me start from character 2, so that my find starts is search from, it doesn't find D, it starts from the next one, so that the first one it finds is what I need, which will be the W. So let's evaluate this and see what it comes to. Okay, so you see that you have hash value errors all the way, meaning that I can't find any of those characters. But you see a number 7 here. This number 7 is telling you the position where that character has been found, right? It doesn't tell me, of course, what character it is. I can always get that. But it tells me that something has been found in position 7. The other characters it can't find, right? Because it can't find capital A, capital, this is capital A, capital B, capital C, uppercase D, like that. It can't find any of them. It only found, that 7. Okay, so all I need to do is to find a way to get rid of all those hash values and get the 7. So I can use maybe if error and say if it's an error, which of course hash value is an error, give me 0. This is going to be a little neater. Okay, so do you see what happens now? I can see 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and I can see my 7. So I can easily just say, okay, use the max function. Here, I'm not trying to force this function to be, non-array. So I'm going to use Control-Shift-Enter because really just for demonstration purposes. I can make it non-array, either use the index function, use the sum product function, whichever one. Because if the others are 0 in this case, I can do a sum product, to just add everything together, right? So, and it's going to give me my answer 7. So I do Control-Shift-Enter in this case. But because I'm using Office 365, with the new dynamic arrays, it doesn't really make any difference. If I use enter, it's still going to work. But for every other person, not necessarily every other person, anybody who isn't using Office 365, this should help you, get it done. So let's double click this down. Let's take that down. Okay. So this is telling you the position where that uppercase is being found. So this one is telling you that W is in position 7. This one is telling you that it's in position 4, right? So to get the first name now, the first name will just be pick everything from the left of this string, right? If you say up to this, how many characters? You say 7 characters. 7 characters includes the W, meaning that you don't need to include the W. So you're going to less 1 from it so that it picks everything to the left of that uppercase character. Do you understand that? I take that rhetoric question and take the rhetoric answer as yes. And then I enter, do Denzel. Okay, you see that? Then for the last name, I can use the mid function in this. What do I start from? Here now I need to start from, of course, that position where it is found, position 7. And this one I don't need to move it by 1 to the right or left because I want it to include that character. So start from position 7. The question is now how many characters? This one you can do some very funky thing. Oh, okay, where am I? What's the length of the string? This minus. Most times I actually don't do that because I know something about the mid function. That if you give the mid function for the number of characters, if you give it a number that is even more than the number of characters that you have there, it's just going to give you everything from there to the end. So what I just do here in this case is I just tell it, okay, just use len, just use the length of the string. I know the length of the string is longer than what it can give me, but which just means just go all the way to the end. So I don't bother with len minus this and that. I just do that, and you see, and I have my first name and I have my last name. So here I had to use what? The find function. Just to recap, what I had to do was to look through all the possible uppercase characters that exist, which is character 65 to 90. That will give you your A to Z. I try to find the position where they can be found in this string, but I make sure I'm starting my search from position 2 so that it doesn't find this first alphabet, because that's not what I really need. What I need is this one here, the second uppercase. So once you do that, you won't, in this case, of course, because we have just one other uppercase character, it's only going to find one number. I had to then do, the if error to turn the others to 0, and then I use the max function to get the maximum of that, and that's really it. So find, case sensitive, search not case sensitive. Find cannot work with wildcards. Search can work with wildcard. So understand the functions, understand your problem, what you're trying to solve, and know the right function to use. Like I always say, if you can think it, then Excel can probably do it. Okay, if you like this video, you can click the like button, of course, and you can also subscribe to the channel Excel Moments. Right, take care. Bye bye.